On this week's episode of For the Love of Chiropractic, Resources for Your Success, I get to speak with a man who I've known for years. His company specializes in helping chiropractors create the office, the physical office of their dreams, and here's who he is.
Thank you, Robert. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to everyone. This is Glen David, owner and CEO of Davlen Design. We are, as you said, a unique company specializing in chiropractic office furnishing systems and ultimately chiropractic office design, flow, and layout. Thanks for the opportunity to be here.
Welcome to Season 3 of For the Love of Chiropractic. Season 1 has 60 episodes of practice management tips to help you build the best practice possible. Season 2, 3 keys of my success, 50 interviews with the most successful chiropractors from around the world. Season 3, resources for your success. So let's listen up and learn how to build a great business. So as I said in the introduction, I had the opportunity to catch up with my friend Glen David by phone. Glen, are you there?
I am here, Robert.
All right, it is so good to be talking to you. So you and I first met a bunch of years ago. I know that we've traveled in the same circles for decades, but you and I actually first met when we were both teaching at Life University, part of the Capstone program. How many years did you do that for?
Oh, I did that for 8 or 9 years, I believe.
Yeah,
wonderful program.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say it's a great program. I don't know if they still do that or not. I taught with them for maybe 3 or 4 years, it was great to get to know you, and I know we have other friends in common as well. But I want to spend our time talking more specifically about your company and what it is you provide. So in the introduction, you gave a quick overview. Can you give me a little bit more detail now, and then we'll really dig in a little bit later?
Certainly. Davlen Design is a unique chiropractic office design and chiropractic furnishings manufacturing company that serves chiropractic exclusively. In other words, it's our mainstay. Several factors have set us apart from any other organizations that are out there. And as I mentioned, we exclusively serve chiropractic, so that's important. We don't deal with building kitchens. We've developed our designs and products around the science of success of chiropractors, which deals with patient flow, technique, clinical and business strategies of a successful chiropractic practice. Peak operating efficiency is important in everything we do. Conservation of space and time is really what got us into this. Products and services are custom created around chiropractic needs to support and enhance the daily activities of the doctor and their staff so they can do more in less time and in less space, which ultimately makes their practice more profitable.
Yeah.
Most importantly, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I love that. Tell me more.
Most importantly, it's about patients' health and wellness. I kind of say that, but it's really our mantra here at Davlen. Everything we do, yes, we could design clinics. Yes, we could help doctors grow and be more efficient. But it's really about the patient's health and wellness that we care about, because I think we really knew each other before you just mentioned that. Chiropractic saved my first son's life. And it's a great story, but that'll take 20 or 30 minutes to discuss. But that's why we are a chiropractic warrior in this profession.
Yeah, I love that. I know you and I come from a similar heritage of Larry Markson philosophy. So success is at its core, and always doing the right thing and what's best for the patients.
Absolutely.
So I know you're located on the East Coast of the United States. Having said that, are you limited to where you provide services to chiropractors?
No, great question. We started this company in New York, and as we started to realize New York was kind of a restriction point for us, we actually moved to North Carolina. It'll be 14 years ago now, because we can actually serve everyone worldwide. We have offices. We're working on one in Italy right now, one in Spain. I have my team fighting on who's going to go down to Hawaii to work on an office we're doing down there. So we are worldwide.
That's fabulous. If you need a rep going to Hawaii, look, I don't want your team fighting amongst themselves. I'll go if that's what it takes.
Fair enough.
So now you said that you moved from New York down to North Carolina about 14 years ago, but how long has Davlen been around doing what you do?
Well, we actually started this in 1984 when my wife was a CA for a doctor that practiced on Long Island in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And the company was formally created in 1987. And I'm kind of proud to announce that it looks like next month we'll be crossing our 7,000th chiropractic office that we've served.
Wow. That's very cool. That's very cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So now you said ever so briefly that chiropractic actually saved your wife's life, and I know it's a long story. Can you give us a little bit more about that? You know, how you became such the chiropractic warrior?
Sure. The business began when my wife was a CA working for a doctor that was literally working in his 2.5-car garage attached to the side of his house. And this was in the early stage of our marriage, and we started to have children, and my son came down with an illness, and it was only the chiropractic philosophy, treating the cause of the problem, not the symptoms, that located what the true problem was and actually saved his life. Well, that kind of made Jean, my wife, and I really understand that we have to give back to this profession because it has given my son back to us. So we had thought about becoming chiropractors ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But by that time, we had 2 other children, and it really wasn't practical to go to chiropractic school. But our goal was so that we could each serve hundreds of patients. We really felt that that was exciting, and that's what we needed to do to serve and give back. Well, as time went on, it was more and more impractical, but we realized if we used our gifts that we were given, my wife's understanding about how to be a really efficient front desk CA. I mean, the practice she was in was 450 square feet, and they were moving over 300 patients a week through that small space.
That's fabulous.
So she knew efficiency. I knew construction. So we said, you know what, let's start a company where we could help hundreds of doctors in our long-term goal, help serve hundreds of patients more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how it started. Well, it blew up after that. And now if we really look back, we've helped thousands of doctors over the last, 4 decades. So we've actually helped doctors serve multitudes of millions of additional patients. And I say that not to impress anyone, just to impress upon you that this is our profession, just that is, it is for anyone that's listening to this. Robert, I'm also proud to announce that just before the holidays, my son Nicholas, who's worked for Davlen for the past 20 years, I actually have pictures of him swinging a hammer when he was 8, but we won't tell the labor board that. He's become a senior partner. He's become a senior partner here at Davlen, which ensures the next generation is here and hopefully for the next 40 years until his son comes on board.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
We're here for a long time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is absolutely wonderful. So let's dig in a little bit more. I guess I have 2 questions, and I'm really not sure which one to ask first. So I'm going to ask them together, and then let you figure out how we best discuss it. My 2 questions are: I really want to hear more about the exact products and services that Davlen offers and provides, and I want to hear. So if a doctor reaches out, say they're starting from scratch, they got a vanilla box. Like, what does it look like? So those are the 2 things that I really want to spend some time digging into. Where do we start?
Well, most importantly, again, we've served so many doctors over the years. A lot of doctors call us too late. So it's really important to kind of discuss any time a doctor has any issue with their workplace as far as efficiency, flow, if they're thinking about having to hire an additional staff member to serve their patients at higher levels, that's the time to connect with us.
Got
Anything, facility or workstation related, is the time to connect with us. Certainly, if you're having an issue with space utilization, call us. Offices are severely underused. Front desks, if your front desk is a mess and it's not working efficiently, or usually happens when someone says we need to hire another staff member, that's the time to call us because we can help them with that. If you need something as simple as an electronic health record station or a foot leveler station, we can help with that as well. So it could be big or small. People think office design, they think, well, I'll call them when we're ready to move. That's not the time. That's already too late. Sometimes people want to figure out where to display and distribute their nutraceuticals or supplements. We can figure that out for them. We can give them solutions. Maybe you want to add an additional adjusting table. Give us a call. We'll show you how you might be able to do that. You know, you and I have had this discussion before. Most doctors spend more time in their office than they do in their home.
Exactly.
Having an office that reflects who the doctor is, what the doctor's values are, and what the doctor's core belief systems are is critical, not only to the success of the practice, but just the health and wellness of the doctor. He wants to just reduce stress, not increase stress.
Oh, absolutely. You know, in fact, the inaugural episode of this podcast, which was now, over 3 years ago, was called The Patient Experience That You Provide. You know, the patient experience. When they walk in the front door, what are they seeing? And I didn't say this to you in our intro, but I will say it now, not proudly, but obviously. The first time that I had called you to help with an office design, part of that design became the front desk. And our mutual friend, Larry Markson, had said, you need a Davlen design desk here. This is horrible. And I sent you pictures of my front desk with the Post-it notes, and the CA was sitting at a level where all you could see where it was her eyeglasses popping just barely above the counter. And sadly, that picture became a before photo that you used in one of your advertisements.
Sorry, I didn't do that because it was a perfect situation. It was blue. We designed the clinic for you.
Yes.
Your contractor convinced you that you could, he could build you a front desk. And he even took some of our ideas, which I was, kind of impressed about as far as that patient education brochure area. But yes, it just didn't work efficiently. So when you were growing, it was time to grow. And that's kind of what we did. It's all about making a first great impression, but it also, the impression has to reflect the demographics and the expectations of a patient. Think about what looks good in Midtown Manhattan may not look good in Boise, Idaho.
No, exactly.
It's about how your staff greets the patient. You could have a beautiful office that works really inefficiently and your CA has a frown on because she's stressed. Well, you want to make sure that she's not stressed so that it kind of reflects the person that's behind that frown. You want to try and create an office to minimize the amount of time that a patient has to wait, which means streamlining patient flow.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, let's quote Disney here, you want to do what you do so well that they want to come back and they want to bring their friends and family.
Exactly.
So that leaves a good impression. But chiropractic is also a business, Robert. It's a great business. It's a big business.
Mm-hmm.
So streamlining systems and strategies are really important.
Absolutely. So let's go back to, okay. So you'd mentioned that your offices gets underutilized when it comes to office design. Docs call you too late. So, walk me through a little bit more of the process and again, the different products. So we've talked about the front desk because I know the practice that I sold, we built and worked in and then ultimately sold, has a Davlen desk and we absolutely love it. It is so incredibly efficient. When I used to bring doctors in and show them what we do, they were amazed that we could process that number of patients with one front desk CA. And it's because of the efficiency of the way the workstation is set up.
Let's look at that, just that topic alone. Is it worthwhile investing in efficiency? Well, simple math. If you could save 30 seconds, is that important? Well, not really. But what if you could save 30 seconds here and there throughout the day? That can easily add up to 30 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, off the record, most staff talk to me and they say they probably waste an hour a day. But let's go conservative, 30 minutes a day. That's 22 and a half days a year. That's 4.5 weeks every year. Now, if I'm helping the doctor streamline their daily activities, they now have 4.5 weeks every year, hopefully to spend with the family.
Sure.
But what happens if a highly trained front desk CA has 4.5 additional weeks every year to help you do nothing but attract, convert, and educate patients,
mm-hmm.
re-energize those patients that they haven't seen in a while, Can they get you one patient in 4.5 weeks? They better. Can they get you one a week? Can they get you one a day?
Mm-hmm.
So think about, doctors are like worried, how do they grow their practice? Save 30 seconds here and there. And we can do that with our systems. And that's, 22 and a half new patients a month.
Right.
Practices are going to explode.
Well, and we didn't even discuss, the old front desk that I had, which was embarrassing. You can find it somewhere. I don't know if it's still on your website or not. We had
I
two.
still use it every day.
we had two front desk CAs to process a certain number of patients. With the one that we have now, with the one that you helped us with, it was designed, for our office specifically, and it's the front desk is a 1 CA position. So frankly, that's one less employee that's doing that part of the work and seeing more patients than we were before. I was amazed at the change of the workflow.
That desk paid for itself in probably 6 to 9 months.
Oh, absolutely.
And the best part is your highly trained second CA, I believe, went out onto the floor to be your tech CA.
That is exactly correct. That is exactly correct.
We're kind of known to be able to pack 21 pounds of chiropractic into a 5-pound pail.
I like that. So walk me through the process. So a doc is starting a new office. Maybe they're right out of school. Maybe they've been in practice. And they're going to a larger office. So they pick up the phone and they say, "Hey, Glenn. So here's the story. I got a box. Like, where do we start?"
Okay. There are so many different onboarding scenarios that we could talk about, but if we're talking about someone that is starting a new location, before they even found the space, I want to speak to them because I want to listen to what they're trying to create, and then I can guide them into how many square feet they really need. As an example, we just finished a clinic out in Nevada, and when I start talking like this, I'm not going to get too detailed, because I am protective of people's proprietary information. But
sure,
this doctor was a full-blown Gonstead practitioner, which the Gonstead set, the changing rooms, the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
They were in 1,950 square feet. They wanted to grow. They wanted to double their volume. They wanted to add back on track, some cervical traction, some other services, shockwave, PEMF. So they really thought about growing, and they said, they're out looking at 4,000 to 5,000 square feet. They found a very inexpensive 5,000 square foot office. Well, we started the process. We designed it up, and in that 5,000 square foot office, I was able to get them 7 full-blown Gonstead offices.
Wow.
Rooms. So it was way more than they needed, and we found out why it was so cheap in rent, because the infrastructure was terrible. It was too expensive. That was a blessing in disguise. So the deal fell through.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at several other locations, and ultimately he goes, "Glenn, there's one space. I love the location, but it's only a little bit bigger than my current space." Well, let's look at it. So we compared it. We analyzed it. We were actually able to get 4 full-blown Gonstead rooms. We were able to get a full area for nutritional supplements. He was able to add his back on tracks, plural. He was able to add some shockwave. He got 2 consult exam report rooms instead of 1, and it was 2,350 square feet.
Wow.
450 square feet more, and he was able to double his services. The cool part was his long-term goal was he wanted to buy a building. So what we did was this. Imagine if he got the 5,000 square foot office. I don't know what rent is around your area, but let's use $25 a square foot. You have that, and then you have the cost to build out that extra 2,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all of that adds up to hundreds of thousands of dollars that in the next 5 years, the doctor does not have to spend.
Mm-hmm.
He could put that in his bank account and use that for his down payment on his new building that he now owns, which means that's part of his retirement account. So you see, we think long-term for these people.
Mm-hmm.
Cool part was, it gets better, we wound up only having to have the doctor site build 2 rooms. Consultation exam room, because that needed to be private, and his x-ray room, because we needed to lead shield it. We did everything else modular. So the part of what we offer is not only our office design, but our chiropractic modular furnishing systems, which is key to being able to pack 21 pounds of chiropractic in a 5-pound office.
Mm-hmm.
See, the modular furnishings that we build, the front desks, the report of finding stations, the modular walls, the room dividers, all of that is built here in our factory. We trucked it out to Nevada,
Mm-hmm.
put it all together for him, and what that means when he moves, all of that investment goes to his next office as well.
Nice.
So we saved him money hand over fist and gave him a true path to his long-term vision.
I love that. So let me ask you another question because time is starting to run on us. So tell me about your fees. I mean, do you have a design fee? Do you have a consultation fee? Is the furniture price? What does that look like?
Okay. Again, many different paths we can go down. It all begins with an initial onboarding call where you sit there and the client tells me what their problem is. We usually ask for photographs. They tell me what they want to go to. I ask about their treatment techniques. I ask about their training. Are they part of a management company? Because we have 24 management companies and coaches that refer to us.
Mm-hmm.
They all teach them certain specific things to do. We provide the best environment so they can carry that out.
Got it.
So the first call is no cost or obligation to the client. We'll answer whatever questions they have for us. We would show them whatever they want to see. And at that point, we can determine if they're going down the path of office design. We can discuss that. And there are fees involved in, if we're starting to design furnishing systems, the cost of designing that is included in the purchase price of the furnishings.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, I need to know, we've served only 7,000 chiropractors, which is great, but it's also only, everyone is different. I need to learn how my future clients are different from everyone else so I can figure out the least expensive way to go. What I can say is this, Robert, if I'm going to design a clinic, I guarantee that the office design that we provide is going to be less expensive, including all of our design services, than if they didn't use us. Because unlike an architect or a realtor, most situations people go to a realtor and they ask how many square feet do you need, and the doctor guesses, and they usually guess too high. Then they go to a realtor, and the realtor wants to show them the higher end because they make more money.
Sure.
Now the doctor has a space that's bigger than it needs to be. And their architect comes to them and says, okay, how many rooms do you need, Mr. Chiropractor, and how big do they need to be? We don't do that. We listen to what they want to create. We use our experience to tell them how small the rooms can be and how many rooms they need to achieve their goal and treatment technique. So every step of the way, it's conservation of money for the doctor so they can serve their patients better. So again, there is no one answer to how our fee structure works. We'll be able to answer that a little clearer once I know which path they want to go down.
All right, that makes sense. That makes total sense. So from that first call to doors opening, and I know that obviously there's construction time and lease negotiations and things like that. What is that timeline?
If somebody's relocating, our timeline can be 2 or 3 weeks. Turnaround from start to finish, ready to go. So that's our timeline.
Right. So
in reality, everyone else delays it.
Yeah, I was going to say Davlen is not the rate limiting step there. You guys can get your job done.
That's correct. We can get it done from the design standpoint, and then typically, they probably have to go out and finish their negotiations, which we want to help them with. Then they lock it in legally. Then, it's an issue of permitting and finding contractors. Every step of the way, we help them with that. But our work is a 2 to 3 week process at minimum. But I will tell you, I'm working on some offices that I've been working with for 2.5 years because the doctor is not quite sure on what he wants to do, and maybe he hasn't found his dream location, or maybe he thought he had to move, and yet in reality he can just remodel his current practice and grow and double his volume in his current practice, which helps him.
Sure, without moving. That makes sense. So I absolutely love all of that, and our time has unfortunately run out. Is there anything else that you wanted to add? Before I ask the obvious questions of how would someone get in touch with you? Is there anything else you want to add?
What I want to add is that we are seeing, and again, doing this for so long, we're blessed that this profession is growing exponentially right now. We're getting hit with not speculative growth. Hey, Glenn, I'd like to set up an office because I'm hopefully going to grow my volume. I'm getting the calls, and it's, Glenn, how do I handle the volume that's walking in the doors? I don't want to turn people away. So that's exciting. We're also seeing big money, private equity money. We're seeing, the different chiropractic franchises, which has big money behind it, investing in this profession. So the profession, I think, is very, very strong, and I'm excited for the profession. Again, because that's my main reason of being here.
Absolutely. Certainly, it's in a very different place than it was 30 and 40 years ago, when chiropractic was almost a dirty word.
Yes.
So that is fabulous. I love all of that. I am so impressed with you and your company. And obviously, having used your services personally in my practice. So if a doc wanted to contact you, what would the best way for them to do that?
DavlenDesign.com, DAVLEN design.com, or our office number is 704-727-2225. And I hope the chiropractors out there know what 2225 means. But that shows my age because it's dialing the phone. The numbers that are alphabetically. Okay, so I just said that I'm an old guy. But yes.
Glenn, I can't thank you enough for taking the time, sharing your knowledge and wisdom. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview with me. I really appreciate it.
It's my honor to help the profession. It's my honor to speak with you again. And I wish everyone all the wellness in the world.
All right. And that's our show for today. If you have a question about today's show or your own practice, feel free to reach out at fortheloveofchiropractic.com. Before making changes to your practice, be sure to seek legal advice regarding those changes and regulations in your state. For the Love of Chiropractic is an RGF production, all rights reserved. And thanks for listening. Original music provided by Hunter Rich Music.